we should be able to look back as a young girl or young boy, basically, especially including myself, to who I was as a young girl to who I am now becoming as a young woman, from 2009 to now, as we're looking through the years. I was always constantly wondering if I was doing things right, constantly trying to please everyone, worrying where I was going or heading in my life, if I was going the right direction or path and journey called life.
Nothing lower. Here we go. And you are up. 1, 2, 3, and down. 2, and down. 3, 2, 3. Very good. Up, 2, 3. Nice. Lift. Higher, higher. Higher, higher. Come on. Up. Even higher. Up, 2, 3.
As we know in this day and age, that young ones today are feeling more and more pressured based on how they should look, act and do, and they've got big expectations from every source that they can think of looking through magazines or through their parents, of excelling in school and whatever it may be.
What a big cocktail.
Larger ones before, Mr. Obviously.
Are you going to try or are you just going to sit there?
No, fine. Yep, super sweet, alright. Sweeter than the other ones.
Right. Okay, my turn now. I'll be the judge of this.
We'll see, shall we? Juicy, very juicy.
Really?
Well, time for my bit. I can't even remember the name of it. It's from the lake, so...
It's their recommendation.
There's chlorine in it.
Chlorine. Great one, Fire.
Two shabby sheep.
You love your
Quite
best.
nice.
Will he drink it all?
Oh, go ahead then.
I said, will you?
Aspie and beer, she's very cheeky. She drinks it when no one's looking, a bit like a cat.
See what I told you? See, she drinks it when people aren't looking.
Thank you, Fire. I'd better be man enough to do it.
Taste tester is back.
Oh, really? The mother look hot.
She's now a food critic, if you haven't known, guys. Oh, tears away nicely.
Yeah, well, this is like
Dips in the sauce.
with pork.
She's taking her time. In the gob it goes.
I've got garlic and something else. Garlic mayo and apple sauce.
Nice to know.
Not
Now I
bad.
guess it's the old schoolboy turn.
You've seen the taste tester, it's met her standards, so here we go. Long Kong. She's saying sauce. What are you saying taste of? Onion?
garlic and applesauce, supposedly.
What?
I did warn you.
You were like this.
Yeah, because I'm being a proper madame. What they call it.
She's drunk it already.
I'm waiting for my second fire. Toast. Bring it.
It's a given. There's some time in our lives that we will face loneliness. Yet the question is that we have to ask ourselves, is loneliness a good thing? Loneliness, however, has its pros and cons, along with its benefits and disadvantages. We need to be aware of our feelings and emotions and everything around us to what's going on, and to hopefully react in the right way when these situations that we come to face hits us in our face. It can be devastating. Breakups can also cause so many mixed feelings and emotions, as well as for many of us so many unanswered questions to why we broke up in the first place. We shouldn't have to always dwell on it, as sometimes yes, breakups for many of us will take time to get over that particular someone. It's a rough transition from sharing every particular with that particular someone that you loved and cared about, to picking up the phone and suddenly remembering that it's a bad idea to call them. In some cases, people can slip into depression, a mood disorder that can feel so heavy and difficult that no one else can possibly understand what you are going through. Caring for yourself and deciding how to move forward can be a serious challenge for many of us. I'm going to be talking to you guys about echolalia and scripting in the autism world, straddling the border of functional language, to give you guys a better understanding. So let's begin this. So the very first thing is the purpose of scripting. The purpose of scripting for many of us autistics is to share meaning. It has a social intent and expression of feelings and or experience from our own world of knowledge. The autistic kids or adults alike don't have yet the language in terms of content, ideas, knowledge about the world, grammar and structure as we know. It may be considered a problem with language comprehension to an extent. It may not be expected or considered appropriate from your guys' perspective of how we should be bringing out our communication or language. Are you an autistic person? Are you a person with autism? What do I really need to call you? More importantly, who am I and what am I doing, and what do I see myself as an individual? Stop calling me some of these first languages, as you should know some of this grinds my gears, guys. As we know that words and language are powerful tools by which an individual can express ideas, thoughts, and more, whether it is abstract, actionable or concrete. I myself as an individual know firsthand and understand wholeheartedly and full darn well that language and the meanings towards words can very much impact someone, no matter who and what they are as a person. We as individuals, I believe, do to attach to some of these words very much for impact and influence, and even more so for developing and changing the attitudes that we have towards the subject and all matters of discussion. Write down or sit down, take the time to sit down and write this, or in this time video record this to you guys from the bottom of my heart, to all the people that have come to my life or may have come into my life for a reason or a season at a time. I know that I may not be the easiest person to understand or work with, yet to the ones that are still around, thank you. So this one's basically all about self-esteem, identity in autistic children and autistic adults, like a how-to, what you can do to help them in this time. Because as we know, basically, you know, as we grow up and whatnot, obviously our first line of contact will be our parent, who should be our role, mentor, guidance, support, mentor, and all these other labels in front of it based on what we go through on our everyday life. We should be able to trust our parents and whatnot to actually share our problems to, or what have you. It's all based on trust and communication, I believe. You're aware, basically, as I shared with you right now, that I'm trying to do the mindful 1 minute challenge of this month of May as part of my 15 challenges that I'm trying to do for the body, mind, spirit and soul. And the reason I'm doing this, as I said, basically is to hopefully create a better version of myself, as well as just seeing if there's any changes I need to do as I document these changes.
Hi, my name is Natalie and I'll be your guide through this interactive mental wellbeing booklet. I myself have experienced mental distress in the past. specifically depression and anxiety. I know and I understand that life can be really, really tough at times. Over the past few months I've been creating this booklet with Weary Workforce Whāroro, who have kindly funded and supported this booklet. So welcome to the Mindful Minute Challenge, a month-long series where each day within the month we'll be chatting about our mental well-being for a few minutes a day. So come along with me on this challenge this month and let's improve our mental well-being together.
First question is, what's the most inspirational thing you've ever seen or heard? Thing I've noticed is sometimes I take my living everyday quotes seriously, obviously, so some of the things that has inspired me obviously is some of the quotes I live by, basically, like the God grant me the serenity kind of quote. Obviously at this point in time I'm doing as a mantra for myself, as well as in saying this, basically, that when you're going through your storms and whatnot, you know, people will show their true colours of who and what they really are. You know, finding your true friends, basically. Test the waters when you go in everyday situation.
Four again.
Oh no, I'm not loving myself for that one.
Oh no! Game over! How cool is that? Look at this. Aspie's got a new car.
Yeah,
Lucky her.
Thanks, Fire. Maybe it was my late birthday treat, was it?
Yay! Yay! Finally, 45 minutes later, Fire, I've got all this puffing going on.
Well, calm down. You keep sending me in the wrong direction.
Well, apparently, you've got to have to trust the match, is it? I don't know if Mr. Lala was basically going to throw me in.
Apparently, like I'm trying to say, she keeps sending me in the wrong direction. That's why it took us so long. She's Hold it! She's a bad sat-nav.
You're incredible. You're a superstar. Don't stim in public. Are you kidding me? We needed to cure you somehow. These are the most like common phrases that are way more ableist than you may realise. I'm going to be talking about is this topic, or another way of looking at it is, do you like it when it's going to be called? You see, basically for me, being on many autistic groups so far, it's kind of ironic that some of them aren't a friendly place for us autistic people. In fact, it was one of the environments that was most toxic to actually an autistic person that I have been in my time of experiencing and getting to know people and whatnot of certain groups that put some prejudices on me and discrimination roles of saying what I can and can't do. Because obviously, as I said before, ableism is based on the discrimination on people's disabilities, regardless if it's mental, physical, cultural, and the like. Dear ableism, as you can see, this is a letter that I am writing to you in the hope that putting these everyday and constant thoughts onto paper I have on a daily may or might change between you and I. A change that may open up our eyes wider to see the bigger picture and all problems that we all face today. We know that there are a lot of issues and problems that we all face today. The question is, who is it to blame for all these issues and problems that we encounter every day and that we face every day of what has happened in the past and present? Just to let you know before I continue writing this letter and share this to the world, I'm speaking only for me as an aspect, but I believe there are many others like me that has something to say as well. I may like to write to you as well, or even share with you their feelings and thoughts about you and state their case, claims too, and hopefully they'll be listened to very closely. I believe wholeheartedly, however, that I may have carried you around for a very long time without knowing or realizing that you were there and existed in my life. To be honest, I thought I got rid of you before you wreaked havoc in my life for a period of time in my life where no one will know me or even my existence, only to find a great number of the rest of the world still wielded you like a social axe with sharp oppression edges, and it's like dying the death of a million paper cuts that we cut ourselves every day. I was at least young to wake up and realize when I very noticed you, but you were there from birth. You morphed into a massive weight around my neck as I aged. I wore you like a restrictive, chaffing Elizabethan collar, as well as a chaffing Elizabethan corset. Thought you were necessary in my eyes because the world around me did as well. No one told me to rip you off and be proud until my 30s, in which I am now in my 30s. Sometimes I find myself still picking you back up and wearing you again, just like an old worn work shirt, like the one you might choose to wear when doing a dirty, unlikable task in an everyday life. So in the interest of trying to dispatch you into the void of the past, I like to ask you to stop doing some things. Sometimes you're like an invisible radio. You broadcast these things through other people, but the signal is sometimes just accepted by others. It's time to change the channel and to change the signal. Sometimes you broadcast your poisonous frequencies from abled people and sometimes from other disabled people. So however you broadcast them, the list is the same. Impermanent judgment. You don't and won't get to judge. 1. How autistic I am. Those with genuine expertise or lived experiences don't use high and low functioning anymore. With high and low, you set me up to fail or have some expectation so low I cannot achieve. Either way, you then use inappropriate measures of me to incorrectly prove your prejudice. Ask questions if you must, or maybe just read this list and apply to it. It's better than rank some assumptions. 2. How I speak, or even if I speak at all. You also don't get to interpret my innate directness as being rude. I can be hyperverbal, a chatterbox, and I can want to talk or not talk to anyone. It's not your call to make, however, whether this is necessary or not in your eyes. I can communicate with you, whether verbal or not, but it might not be in the way you least expect it. Give my communication the same respect as any form of communication and take time to appreciate it all. Speech is not the only form of communication, and autistic communication is different, not a deficit. 3. How I think or process information. There isn't one way to think. I may seem to go around things in different ways, but what I produce, what I do, and what I say or not say are valid. Thinking is not measured against the neurotypicals only. 4. How my senses operate and how I take care of my environment. You don't get to decide if it's too bright, too loud, or too many people in a space for me, or whether I should force eye contact or not. I'm doing my best to look at your glasses or eyebrows, usually then looking away regularly. I get to decide how I manage that, and I do know what hurts me. I cannot change my sensory parameters just to suit yours. I am not a machine or a robot with dials and switches any more than you are. I cannot step in out of my senses. 5. How social I am or am I not? To you, it's antisocial. To me, it's self-care. My need for solitude and peace is not your business. I also am not in the need of a dinner companion because you have decided it's lonely. I will seek the company of other people when I want and if I can and when I choose to. My social boundaries are different, not wrong. 5. What I call myself. You can say person with autism, but to me, autism isn't something separate from me, and it's not something to be ashamed of. For me, I am an autistic person, or even, as I classically called myself every day, an Aspie. 6. How do I do a task? I know what I can do, so don't exclude me from a task every day because it is too stressful for me based on your limited judgment of me or without checking in with me first. This happens to autistic people a lot, even when we are skilled and qualified and have a proven track record. I also deserve to try something now and modify a task to fit my known workarounds and ways I use with my aids and accommodations. I still deserve the right to abandon a task. I will seek support if I need it. Don't make these decisions for me. Only me can decide for myself. Assistance policing. This is my final ask. You don't get to decide. 1. How I do or don't use my aids or my accommodations. Using communication techniques or social scripts that I have learned from the neurotypical world are my choice to use as I see fit for me. They are no different to any other disability aids. I won't use them all the time, but when I need to feel safe, it's my right to use them like a semi-ambulant person's using a stick at times and then sometimes not. Give me that right to decide for myself. 2. Whether I'm masking. I've had people counsel me about the dangers of masking or think I am being untrue to my nature or to myself when I use communication aids. I know masking can hurt me and damage my health, and I know my rudeness or directness or realness is perfectly okay because I accept me for who I am, of my imperfections, faults and flaws. I also know that after years of abuse from the neurotypical people, I tend to start slowly and may mask
for self-preservation. I've made the decision to mask from time to time to feel safe, and that is my given darn right. Sometimes I will choose to mask because I know logically, if not emotionally, however, that I may offend on a given day topic. I ask neurotypical people to take the time to get to know my communication styles as well, and sometimes I need to do that for them too. I pick my own battles, sometimes poorly, and that's my right also. I pick my own battles to choose which is right, which is wrong, and also to know when to give up if need be. Make no mistake, I will not always mask, however. One form of oppression doesn't need to be matched with another. So dear ableism, to be completely autistic or Aspie, I've had enough of you. This is my last communication to you, and I wish you well and hope that you shall and will not return any more in my life. Do not reply, go hastily into the night or day, and do not forever return. Aspie.
She's been bobbing all night.
Yeah. Let's just.
There you go, look, she's bobbing already.
I just need to do the bob and get the beat now. Just bring some beats on it.
I ain't looking forward to this, that's all I can say. I'm not very good at bobbing.
Hopefully this doesn't end me losing. I've lost 3 times on the trot so far. And Miss Ponzi over here wins. Or Bumblebee or Queen Bee, whatever you want to call her.
Well, you guys can call me whatever you want under the comment section. What will be the best title
She's
for it?
even dressed like a bee. This occasion.
Stop being concentrated on me.
I'm just drinking it, right?
No one's saying to you. Typical fire. As always. What are you trying to do to me? Trying to make me lose.
Let's have a look, shall we?
So, good luck, Lady Pooh.
I'm not baby poo, thank you. Maddie moo. Anyways.
Oh, great. What is too low?
video that was from the Twitter page group that wanted me to do the Tell My Story challenge, which is obviously the Tell My Story challenge. So basically, the coping methods that I do, I'll be showing with you, and also just share briefly with the ones I haven't done. Basically, you'll see in the following clip. Are any of these like yours?
Bottle of water to keep hydrated as well. I am rich, I am beautiful, I am kind, I am loyal, I am courageous, I'm faithful, I'm loyal. Other days, basically, depending on it, based on it, I'll usually be out and about, going outside, hanging with my friends and family, or just doing something outside just to get a bit of breath of fresh air. Also, as a bear minder though, just remember that every coping method technique will vary from person to person. When they are anxious, they are feeling down, having their meltdowns or what have you. And also, as I said in a quick short brief period of my video of the one of to enable or not to enable, when I have my meltdowns especially, well, my coping method is my grounding techniques. This is also sitting down once it's over and actually basically in saying this, that I question the following questions, or say to myself also in saying that, you know, I'm an autistic, yes, I had a bad day, I had a meltdown, this is what happened, this is why it happened, how it happened, if there was any involvement of people around me in that situation, who were involved, what can be done about it, and all that. Every day can be a good day and a bad day, but this one was a one-off. I need to get up and actually do what I can, this is what needs to be done, and so on and so forth. This is my coping methods and techniques. If you want to join the bandwagon of this Tell My Story challenge, you can do so with the tags #MyStoryMH and the other one at Tell My Story C. So if any of you are out there that are watching this, maybe I challenge you guys to share your coping methods and techniques and post it onto your Twitter page, Instagram page, or wherever you've found this video, and actually spread awareness. Question has come about based on the research: does autism change as we age? I believe that based on this, it has been proven that despite it all, that we need to figure out what we know so far about autism itself, because as I have mentioned in myself, autism is a diagnosis in itself based on being a neurological typical disorder of what is autism, and this has been classified in the 1940s by Aspergers, hence the name of Aspergers Syndrome. But then it was brought out in the 70s for the classical autism or autism spectrum disorder as such, to actually bring out and about the actual umbrella of the host of. Also, and that with these signs and symptoms that I mentioned in autistics, that will vary from person to person, as well as the characteristic traits, be it male or female. This though, basically autism, as I've clearly mentioned, is also known as a diagnosis that was clinically known for being it a male diagnosis, because just briefly, autism was far-fetched not a woman's diagnosis, and when it did come about, many females get diagnosed at a later date or a later time of their life maybe. And due to that is the reasoning behind it, is because of the similar signs, symptoms, versus also the traits and characteristics that comes with it. Basically, we're diagnosed as basically us being having bipolar, depression, and all that. But as we know, with some other diagnoses, be it some for mental health, neurological disorders, versus your education, you know, your learning disorders as such, and many other hosts of disorders, shall I say conditions, not to offend anyone here, that obviously it has come in the mix of what autism can come with. Girls are also, or shall we say girls and young women, once they get diagnosed with autism especially, are usually able to mask the characteristics, traits in general of autism pretty well. And this is known also when they do their socialization with their peers, and how they go about mimicking